Welcome back, everyone, to Applying Yourself, a law school admissions podcast hosted by the admissions staff at Washington University School of Law in St. Louis. My name is Anna Donovan, and I am the Communications Program Manager.
And my name is Naomi Stewart, and I serve as a director in the admissions office. And today is a bonus episode.
Yep.
And so candidates are being admitted, interviewed. We're talking with a lot of you as prospective students, and something that comes up often is St. Louis, questions about St. Louis, and questions about St. Louis in the fall. So today's episode is Fall in Love with St. Louis.
Yes, I already have, but we're going to convince every one of our million listeners.
Yes. And so today we're just going to talk through things that we love about fall in St. Louis and all the goings on, things you can do, see.
For sure. Absolutely.
Top of the list is leaves.
I think for, as I'm from St. Louis and I love it here, but for candidates who are checking out law schools, again, as you mentioned, visiting, now is such a great time to, see campus and see WashU and all that, the Midwest and
really anytime's a good time. There's no bad time.
That is correct. There is no bad time. But this is the best time, which is why we're going to talk about all the incredible things that are happening in St. Louis in the fall, and for our visitors that come, we try and give them ideas of things that they can go do in the city so that they can, kind of see what their life is going to be like as a law student. It isn't all about being in the class all the time. There's some really, really fun things happening these past couple months and these upcoming months in St. Louis. Naomi, do you want to start us off?
So I guess just kind of prefacing it with like the setting that all of the stuff is going on in St. Louis. And because I'm not from St. Louis, I'm originally from San Diego. A big difference between San Diego and St. Louis would be trees.
We have a lot of those.
To put it mildly. Also the ocean, but the ocean has sharks, and there's no sharks in these trees.
Yes.
And they're also beautiful. And the foliage, the leaf peeping, all of that in St. Louis is just peak. It is amazing.
Yes.
And so the trees are gorgeous all year round. It's just, beautiful topography, landscape, all of that. But when the leaves start to change, it's a beautiful backdrop. Anna, we were talking on Monday, I think, about we had a similar weekend. You did way more fun stuff than me, but we both went to Ted Drewes.
Yes.
Ted Drewes is a famous frozen custard spot in St. Louis. When my brothers visit, we have to go multiple times in a day, which probably isn't good for you, but we have to. So you went to Ted Drewes just like an hour after I went to Ted Drewes.
We almost ran into each other.
So I've got my Fox Treat concrete.
And I have my great pumpkin.
Oh, man. So good. Just like amazing. I've got my concrete. I get in the car. Herb Alpert is on the radio.
Yep.
And I'm cruising around.
Yeah. Probably windows
leaves.
cracked.
Yeah.
Rustly, crunchy leaves.
It was like 68 degrees out. Yeah. Sunny. Perfect day.
Perfect. And if you wanted to start your day with that as your breakfast, I would wholeheartedly endorse.
No shame. Okay, so we've kind of set the scene. What's your top thing in St. Louis in the fall?
Yeah, absolutely. So I try and maximize my weekends to do things and definitely usually try and cram in too much, but there's just so much going on in the fall.
You do all the things.
That I want to, micro schedule out every hour of the day. I don't know if I've mentioned how much I love the Arch yet on this podcast, but I did have some friends in town. We did Ted Drewes. We went downtown to see the Arch. And it's, again, kind of like tree lined. They just redid the park grounds over these last couple of years for our national park and redid the museum as well. Definitely you can go year round. But when you add in kind of the colors and the backdrop of the Arch, it is just such a great kind of crisp fall day thing to go explore.
It is just perfection. The grounds of the Arch are perfection. And the Arch is a 60-story Saarinen sculpture. Just to see a sculpture of that size is incredible. And we have many other amazing sculptures in St. Louis also. We have the Richard Serra Joe at the Pulitzer.
Yep.
There's lots and lots of really amazing art in St. Louis, but this is like, and to see it
Right.
is a whole other thing.
Right. You see it from afar. You go to the park and you see it up close. Can do a little tour of the free museum. There's a video you can watch. You can go up into the arch if you are not afraid of heights, and it's just like a gorgeous view of downtown St. Louis. Highly recommend to tack that on to your weekend activities. And I think for our students, I try and also impress upon them that it is like a bucket list item. Like if you have not gone to see the arch in your 3 years here,
it.
like I don't know what you're doing with yourself. Please do yourself that favor, especially in the fall. Some other things, we in the Midwest here, some people, when you're just kind of visualizing what the Midwest looks like, if you haven't lived here, aren't from here, you're like picturing cornfields. And while St. Louis is quite a vibrant city with tons of amazing things, we certainly have those cornfields. And, in the fall, you're looking at corn mazes, you're looking at pumpkin patches. One of the big kind of apple picking, peach picking, kind of seasonal stuff location is called Eckert's. And it's just a delight to go out.
Yeah.
You ride a tractor, you go pick your own apples, you're making apple pie, really kind of digging into that like deep Midwestern
But
roots
there's
there.
also, I discovered a couple weeks ago, there's a lot of Century Farms, just like north of the city. They're really not that far out, but it's very much not in the city,
For sure.
obviously. And they're family farms, and you go there, and there's apple picking, pumpkin picking, and there's like, Eckert's is amazing.
Right.
It can get very busy
Sure.
because it's amazing.
Yes.
These other family farms, there's no one there. It's like you're on your own farm.
Right.
It is gorgeous.
Yes.
They're incredibly scenic, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
really
and
fun.
I would say adding to that is a lot of apple cider and apple cider donuts, which are at the top of my list. As you're wandering through these apple orchards, eating your apple cider donut, so many, small family-owned farms. You can just do a quick Google and have 30, in a probably, honestly, 10 to 15 minute drive from the city center, not too far, and you're really in the thick of how beautiful the Midwest is.
So we've talked about art, we've talked about tedroos and pumpkin and apple picking. There's a lot of like events that happen too.
Yeah.
When does the balloon glow happen? Is that in September? I feel like, or was it last weekend? There were balloons in the
Sure.
sky.
Yes. No, it was. I believe it was the end of September.
Okay.
Or maybe very beginning of October. But this is a yearly event that we have in St. Louis.
Hot air balloons. That's what we're
hot
talking
air
about.
balloon race that starts with what's called the Balloon Glow in Forest Park. And if you're doing some Googling or Google mapping of St. Louis and
It's
WashU, Forest Park is our front yard of campus, and it is this giant urban park. And for the Balloon Glow, all of the owners, the drivers, the racers, I'm not super sure what we call those people, but like they blow up their balloons on the ground before the race, and there's food. It's kind of like I would say like a mini carnival in the evening, and you can walk through and see all of the really pretty designs of all the balloons. And then the next morning, I believe, they do the hot air balloon race. And so really anywhere in St. Louis, if you look up, and especially if you're in a high rise, you have a good vantage point, you may see hot air balloons going across. So something that we, have recently, had happen in St. Louis. Some other things that I may have recently passed, the Japanese festival at the Botanical Gardens. The Botanical Gardens is always hosting different
Lots of
events.
stuff, yeah.
They have like market days. They have Garden Glow kind of starting now in the fall and into the winter with lots of twinkly lights that they set up in the park that you can walk through. But the Japanese festival is super, super lovely to attend as well.
It's amazing. The Japanese gardens at the Botanical Gardens are they are incredible. And of course, like, obviously the leaves change at the garden too. And so in the Japanese garden, it's just gorgeous, gorgeous trees.
Yes.
And all the colors.
all the
It's
colors.
beautiful.
Yeah. Some other events. A couple weeks ago, something I love to attend just because I have friends that happen to live in this neighborhood is Grove Fest.
Yes.
So the Grove is a really amazing, vibrant neighborhood not too far from campus. On the other side of Forest Park from WashU, and they close down the streets. They have a bike race, I believe, that ends with Grove Fest. I might be like combining events together, but they close down the street. They have concerts. They have food throughout the day. It's such a great kind of like being outside in the streets, kind of street festival.
Yes, the Cherokee Jazz Fest, Cherokee Street Jazz Fest is amazing. So St. Louis is a huge jazz city. I'm a jazz fan myself, and so there's always something going on, from the like incredibly avant-garde to smooth jazz, and everywhere in between. It's all in St. Louis, and so Cherokee Street is a really amazing neighborhood. There's a lot of events that go on there, and is a jazz fest this
It is, yep, this coming weekend.
Yeah, this coming weekend.
Yeah. Super wonderful. There are so many places in St. Louis when you can experience live music, which is excellent. And this is one of them that gets you to a really cool neighborhood and hearing some just really phenomenal music. A couple more things. We kind of just got through, as it's now newly November, a bunch of Oktoberfest. We love our beer here in St. Louis, and a couple of breweries have their own Oktoberfest, specifically Urban Chestnut, which has 2 locations in St. Louis, and I think a not to be missed event. Everyone loves a soft pretzel, and standing outside having a beer, hearing some polka music, some people in their lederhosen. It's a delight.
It's amazing. And I think Schlafly also does an Oktoberfest, so they have like fall days.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's like multiple Schlafly locations. There's
it's kind of pick your poison of what beer you like, where you want to be in St. Louis, and going to one of those.
Absolutely. And so having gone through October, and being now in November, haunted houses of course come to mind.
Yeah.
Peak among those being the Lemp Mansion.
Yes.
It is a spooky place.
Yes.
It's one of the most haunted houses in the United States. Anna, do you know other details about it?
So, I mean, a little bit. It is a historical home and a historic St. Louis family with a lot of rich history tied into, as we just mentioned, the beer culture here. Lemp Brewery, but you can sign up to go on a haunted tour of Lemp Mansion, and they talk about the family and the spooky things, and you get to kind of walk around the house. And I think it's really exciting, even for the non-believers. Like, you're getting the history of St. Louis, kind of tied into.
It is definitely
the
like a
things.
history buff thing as well, because there is just so much history. And Lemp Mansion is down at the end of Cherokee Street,
It is.
so in that whole neighborhood, which is just across from the Anheuser-Busch Brewery.
Yes.
There's tons of stuff that goes on at the brewery all the time, but fall goes into winter, and during the winter there's, I forget what it's called, but like holiday days at
they do brewery lights.
Yeah, brewery lights.
At Anheuser-Busch, which is awesome. They have an ice skating rink. You can rent fire pits, and buy merch and drink some beer, walk around, and see some twinkly lights. Another big thing is Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park. It is you can buy tickets to walk through the park and see all of the lights display. I think they boast it's like the most lights in one place in St. Louis. Like, it's like, the biggest lights display. Or you can get tickets to drive your car through. You can take a horse carriage. That's super fun as well. A thing that my friends and I like to do is over the last couple of years, and I think this is pretty popular in other cities as well, Christmas themed pop-up bars.
Oh, yes.
And those are extra for our drinking crowd. I believe they have non-alcoholic drinks and snacks as well. But they will convert bars into just like these crazy explosions of Christmas, and you can make a reservation and get themed drinks, and it's really, really fun to go to those.
Yeah, lots of fun things coming, and we're still in the thick of fun fall events too.
Yeah.
What else? What else is there to do?
Well, I think right before this we were talking about Union Station does a fun train event.
Polar Express?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Polar Express for children. But that's, something that you can buy a ticket for. You wear your pajamas, you get on the train, you get a hot chocolate and a cookie, and it's kind of a little ride and kind of thrilling. I think there's a lights display, too, they do inside Union Station, which is a hotel and a beautiful building downtown. I would say, like, pretty common also, for people that may come in town for St. Louis, or friends of mine that may just be back in town for the holidays, is just going to get a drink in the main hall in Union Station, because it's really beautiful.
So beautiful
in there.
Yes,
for sure.
It's like many cities as Union Stations.
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
Like
right.
Los Angeles
right.
or
Yes.
But it's gorgeous.
Absolutely. We just happen to have a lot of historic, beautiful architecture in St. Louis, and that's just added to the list.
To that.
Anything else that we're missing? I would probably be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about like hiking and outdoorsy things. And I know, one of your favorite things, Naomi, the wolf sanctuary.
So the wolf sanctuary cannot come up too many times for me. And
I'm going to mention it every time.
I did just revisit. So it's actually I misnamed it. It's a wolf center because the wolves there are recovery populations.
Okay.
So they're kept very wild, and really their lives there are to help breed and then reintroduce these wolves to the wild. And they have several species there that are endangered. And so this ties back to the fall, because visiting this wolf center during the fall is a great time to visit, because the wolves are extremely active. And the whole time I was there, this was a few weeks ago, our guide was saying, oh, well, the wolves don't usually do this, or we never see them like eat. They've just been given a deer, but they won't eat in front of people. And there they were, just like
chomping on that deer.
Not that, I mean, if that's not your bag,
sure,
that's
right.
fine.
Yes.
But it was like very much seeing all different breeds of
that's really cool.
very, very wild animals, and seeing nature really do its thing. It was absolutely amazing. And all of the work that they do, it's at the Tyson Research Center, which is a part of, I'm not sure if Tyson is a part of WashU, but it's on like a piece of land that it's part of WashU basically, runs this wolf center. And so it was just amazing. I mean, so worth it to go and see these wild animals.
Yeah. You can also go to Lonoc Park and see the bison, and you can drive through. But also some of these places, probably not the Wolf Center, will have hiking trails as well. So really, as we mentioned, like, you don't have to drive very far to get out of St. Louis City Center, and there's some beautiful hikes, some waterfalls. We have a lot of caves, and again, like, if you just want to be amongst those beautiful trees, getting outside, walking around, and some some short hikes. There are definitely places you can go that have paved trails as well. Nothing's we don't have like super high inclines or anything. Elevation not the biggest in the Midwest, but just really beautiful scenic places that you can go.
So beautiful, lots of vistas. I recently moved out to the countryside, which again, it's
you don't
only
live that far.
It's really not that far, but it's out past Lonoc Park and past the Wolf Center, and very much in the thick of nature. So near Castlewood State Park. There's so many state parks that are just gorgeous and have really interesting history as well. They're really old establishments. And the other day I think we were in Babbler. I'm not sure which of the state parks, and there was a bald eagle nest.
Yep.
There it is, just hanging out.
Yeah. If you're a birder, come on down to the Great State of Missouri.
With birds.
Right?
Yeah.
We do. We have tons of birds. But really, like, it's a choose your adventure. There's, whether you're looking at indoor, outdoor, kids, scary adult things, food, music, whatever it is.
Art.
There is like just an abundance of things happening. And there's just like too much for you even to be able to do it all. Like, you just have to see what's happening, pick and choose. And a lot of this stuff happens year after year, so you can always go next year.
The next year, yes. You do a really good job, Anna. You seem to do it all. Every single thing.
I try. And it's really just because, the leaves only last so long on the trees.
Yeah.
And it's just my favorite time of year. It not all parts of the country, get to have fall or autumn or whatever we're calling it.
Yeah.
And it's just so glorious to a sight to behold. So hopefully we have once again sold everyone, our millions of listeners, on St. Louis. And I guarantee that you all will fall in love with St. Louis.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. All right,
Bye-bye.
bye.